Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Introduce me to Gina Agustin, so you can call me Gina. I will present an assignment for an English course, which is about part of speech. Yes, maybe some people already know what part of speech. In short, part of speech is word classification. For clarity, I will explain, so let's go. So, what is part of speech? Part of speech is a classification of words that are categories based on their role and function in the structure of the English language. Part of speech dibagi menjadi 8, yaitu ada noun atau kata benda, conjunction atau kata hubung, verb atau kata kerja, pronoun atau kata ganti, interjection atau kata seru, preposition atau kata depan, adverb atau kata keterangan, and adjective atau kata sifat. Yang pertama akan kita bahas yaitu noun atau kata benda. This part of speech serves to name a person, place, thing, or idea. Generally, nouns are preceded by the particles a, an, and the. Noun juga dapat berbentuk singular dan plural, konkret dan abstrak. Nouns dibagi menjadi beberapa macam, atau kinds of nouns. So, first, countable noun dapat dihitung. Contohnya, food, mountain, and tree. Next, uncountable noun yang tidak dapat dihitung. Contohnya, example, meat, milk, and snow. Next, common noun atau bersifat umum. Example is country, desert, and recipes. Next, proper noun or specific. Example is Indonesia, Sahara, Albert Einstein. Next, abstract noun. Ya, menyatakan ide, konsep, perasaan, sifat, ataupun karakter. For example is idea, imagination, and love. Next, concrete noun, yaitu berwujud. For example, sugar, water, and table. And then, collective noun, yaitu nama kelompok atau suatu kumpulan. Contohnya yaitu class, staff, and couple. Untuk salah satu contoh kalimatnya, saya kasih contoh yaitu I buy a sugar. Sugar itu termasuk ke dalam countable noun. Kenapa? Karena sugar itu masih dapat dihitung. Pronoun atau kata ganti. Pronouns are used to replace nouns. Part of speech is useful to avoid the repetition of the use of nouns. So kind of pronouns. Pertama itu ada personal pronouns. For example, I, you, we, they, she, it. Next, demonstrative pronouns. This, that, this, those. And then, interrogative pronouns. For example, is, who, what, which. Next, relative pronouns. For example, is, who, what, which, that. Next, indefinite pronoun. For example, is another, anything, and everything. Next, reflexive pronoun and intensive pronoun. For example, myself, yourself, and ourselves. Dan yang terakhir ada reciprocal pronouns. For example, is each other, one another. Dan bagian selanjutnya yaitu ada verb atau kata kerja. Verbs are used to indicate the action of the subject, indicate events or circumstances. Kind of verbs. 1. Action verbs atau transitive, menunjukkan tindakan atau kepemilikan dan dilanjutkan dengan direct object. For example is have, give, and ride. Next, for 2. Action verb or intransitive, yaitu menunjukkan tindakan tetapi tidak diikuti dengan direct object. For example is arrive, rise, and white. Next, linking verb, yaitu penghubung subjek dan deskripsinya. For example is be, taste, and remind. Adjective or kata sifat. Adjective is a word used to describe or modify a noun or pronoun. Usually comes before noun or pronoun. However, it can also be located after linking verbs related to the senses or sems and tastes for noun or pronoun. There can be more than one adjective. For example, old, young, bad, fat, thick, and big. Salah satu kalimat contohnya yaitu the watermelon is so big. Big termasuk adjective. Next, yaitu adverb atau keterangan. Adverb is usually used to describe or modify a verb, adjective, or other adverb. However, adverbs never describe a noun and usually answer the question how, when, where, why, under what conditions, or to what degree. Kind of adverb, adverb of manner, well, softly, or quickly, for example. Next, adverb of degree, for example, is just, almost, so. Next, adverb of frequency, for example, is usually, always, rarely. Adverb of place, for example, is in, above, and below. Adverb of time, for example, is annually, daily, and yesterday. Kalimat contohnya yaitu my dog eats quickly. So, selanjutnya yaitu ada preposition atau kata depan. Preposition is a part of speech that is placed before a noun or pronoun to form a phrase that modifies other words in a sentence. Kind of preposition. Preposition of time, for example, is after, before, during, since, until. Preposition of place, for example, is above, at, in, on, under. Preposition of movement, for example, is inside, into, of, towards. Preposition of manner, for example, is by, in, like, on, with, without. Preposition of purpose, for example, is for. And preposition of quantity or measure, for example, is for and by. Next, conjunction or kata hubung. This part of speech serves to connect words, phrases, or clauses, and also to show the relationship between connected sentence elements. Kind of conjunction. Kind of conjunction. Coordinate conjunction yaitu menghubungkan dua konstruksi gramatikal yang sama. For example is, and, but, not, or. Correlative conjunction yaitu digunakan secara berpasangan between, and, either, or. Subordinated conjunction yaitu membentuk adverbial clause. For example is, after, because, before. And then conjunctive adverb yaitu menghubungkan dengan logis dua independent clause yang berurutan. For example is, at last, besides, however, hence, then. And the last part of speech is interjection atau kata seru. Interjection is a word used to express different levels of emotion. Grammatically, it is usually seen as a part that is not related to the main sentences. For example, hey, look at me. Dian, quickly close that window. Ya, itu sebagai contoh dari interjection. Well, that's not that I can explain, more or less sorry. Hopefully it's useful for those of you who will listen. Goodbye, see you later. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.